Hello everyone and welcome back to Next Gen Gaming SC. I'm your host, Josh Snyder, and we are ready to go for the final round here at the Game Kastle Store Showdown in Greenville, South Carolina. Our final two undefeated players, Perry on the left piloting Qi'ra Green, Ryan on the right piloting Cad Tarkentown. We saw Ryan here at the feature table in round 2 as he was able to defeat Luke ECL. So we have had Cad Bane here at the feature table all 3 rounds. He has a new challenger with Qi'ra Green. Both of these players hungry for the Store Showdown win. There was only a total of 8 players in this tournament, so it's just 3 rounds, and that is it. There's no top cut. So the winner of this match is the winner of this Store Showdown. So they are playing for that Gore Champion card in this match. In Game 1, Perry will start with the initiative. He plays Inferno 4 to open things up. Ryan plays Crafty Smuggler in the ground arena. Cad Bane trigger. 1 damage to Inferno 4. With the Inferno 4 trigger in the first round, Perry put 1 card back on top. It was resupply, and then 1 card on the bottom. So he has drawn into that resupply here in round 2, and he will play it. Perry goes up to 4 resources. And now the action over to Ryan. First damage of Game 1 with Crafty Smuggler. 2 damage to Perry's base. And now Perry has used up his resources. He will attack with Inferno 4. 2 damage to Ryan's base. And now we are going to see Punishing 1 coming into the space arena for Ryan. Cad Bane trigger. 1 more damage to Inferno 4. The Inferno 4 now just 1 Cad Bane ping away from being defeated. We'll see if Perry opens up with another unit, or if he is fine with Inferno 4 being defeated off a Cad ping and he just attacks first, and that's what he's going to do. Perry is going to attack with Inferno 4, 2 damage to Ryan's base. And Ryan is going to play Jabba the Hutt. He will do the Cad trigger, 1 damage dealt to Inferno 4. The Inferno 4 defeated. And Ryan gets to take a look at the top 8 cards of his deck, and he will be looking for a trick. There are quite a few in the deck. He finds one here. He will get Waylay. So Waylay will go into Ryan's hand. Ryan's tricks now also cost 1 less with Jabba in play. And Perry now resolving the when defeated trigger on Inferno 4. Once again, 1 card on top, 1 on bottom. And Perry is going to play Devastating Gunship. Such a fantastic card for Qi'ra. Devastating Gunship defeats Crafty Smuggler. And now Ryan has used up his resources, but he does still have Punishing 1 ready in the space arena. And keep in mind, he has yet to use Tarkentown. Ryan could always take out the Devastating Gunship with Punishing 1 plus Tarkentown if he was really concerned about that threat, but Ryan chooses to be aggressive here. 3 damage to Perry's base with Punishing 1. Perry claims the initiative. Perry choosing not to deploy Qi'ra last round. He did have 5 resources. Perry now up to 6 total resources, waiting for the right time to deploy Qi'ra. And with the first action of the round, Perry plays Takedown, defeating Punishing 1. That is going to make sure that Devastating Gunship has a chance to stay on the board a bit longer. That devastating gunship, such a fantastic unit for any Qi'ra deck. Of course, it gives Qi'ra more board control with the when played ability. But Kira's action ability is just so good with devastating gunship having the built-in grit. You put 2 damage on it, you give it a shield token, and now you have a 5/3 space unit that just puts on a ton of pressure. And with Ryan's next action, he is going to smuggle in Hotshot Blaster onto Jabba. So Jabba will attack into Perry's base. 4 damage. 9 damage in total on Perry's base now, and then Perry will respond with Inferno 4. And it looks like both of the cards that were on top of Perry's deck will get shipped to the bottom. So Perry has built up a nice presence in the space arena. Ryan is going to put another unit in the ground arena. This time it's Greedo. Ryan does do the Cad Bane trigger. That will end up putting a damage on Devastating Gunship, which makes the gunship a bit stronger. So Perry attacks with the Devastating Gunship, 4 damage into Ryan's base. Ryan just claims the initiative, and Perry is going to go ahead and deploy Qi'ra. So Inferno 4 ends up with 1 damage. 2 damage now on the Devastating Gunship. 4 damage onto Qi'ra and Jabba as well. Perry is going to attack into Greedo, so Greedo defeated, and Ryan was really hoping to find a non-unit card on the top of his deck. Greedo's when defeated trigger, you discard the top card of the deck. If it's a non-unit card, you deal 2 damage, or you can deal 2 damage to a ground unit, so that would have been able to end up defeating Qi'ra, but it looks like Ruthless Raider was the card on top, so a miss from Greedo there. The first action of this round will be on Ryan. He is staring down quite a large board on Perry's side. Qi'ra has 7 power. The gunship has 5 power. And then you have the Inferno 4 there as well. Ryan does have an option to make a trade with Qi'ra. He could use Jabba to attack and defeat Qi'ra. Both units would be defeated. And that is going to be the play that Ryan makes. Jabba and Qi'ra trade. Ryan just can't afford 7 damage to his base with Qi'ra. But now with Perry's next action, he is going to attack with Devastating Gunship. That will be 5 damage to Ryan's base, so 13 damage in total on Ryan's base, and he will take the next action. Ryan has an empty board now, but he has not deployed Cad Bane yet. However, you do have Perry sitting over there with 7 open resources and multiple cards in hand. Now again, keep in mind, Tarkentown still available for Ryan. He could take out the Devastating Gunship with Tarkentown here. And we're going to see Cartel Spacer come into the space arena. No Cad trigger. Inferno 4 hitting Ryan's base for 2. 15 damage on Ryan's base. Now Cad Bane is deployed, and Perry has the immediate answer. Rivals fall, defeating Cad Bane and sending him right back to where he was. Action back over to Ryan. He still has 4 ready resources. And Ryan is going to play McClunky returning the Cartel Spacer to hand, dealing the 3 damage needed to Devastating Gunship to defeat it. So that was quite necessary for Ryan, as that Devastating Gunship was hitting for a very large amount each round. Ryan just 10 HP remaining on his base. Perry does have the initiative in this round, and we're getting into the late stages of the game where Qi'ra can start playing some very big threats. And Perry is going to play Overwhelming Barrage. That's going to give Inferno 4 +2/+2, 4 total power, dealing 4 damage to Cartel Spacer and defeating the Spacer. And Ryan is going to play Waylay, bouncing that Inferno 4 back to Perry's hand, saving at least 4 damage. And Perry says, okay, I'll just play the Inferno 4 again. Those top 2 cards of the deck. One of the cards going to the bottom of the deck, one back on top. And Ryan is going to play 4-Lom Cad Trigger, 1 damage to Inferno 4. Board's pretty cleaned up on both sides. We've just got 4-Lom in the ground arena for Ryan, Inferno 4 in the space arena for Perry. But the late game for this Qi'ra deck is just so much stronger that I have a feeling it is going to be tough for Ryan to find that last 21 damage he needs to win this game. And Perry is going to play Darth Vader. And Perry will resolve the when played ability first. He gets to search the top 10 cards of his deck for any number of villainy units with a combined cost of 3 or less, and he can play each one of those for free. So Perry is going to play Hylobond, Enforcer, and Dr. Pershing. And then Darth Vader will ambush and defeat 4-Lom. And now the board presence completely in favor of Perry, as he gets 3 units with 1 action. Now the action back over to Ryan. Ryan is going to play Ruthless Raider, dealing 2 damage to Inferno 4. Inferno 4 defeated. And also 2 damage to Perry's base, bringing the damage count on Perry's base up to 11. Perry getting yet another Inferno 4 trigger. Looking at the top 2 cards, sending 1 to the bottom, keeping 1 on top. And now Perry using Qi'ra's ability. I believe that's the first time here in Game 1 Qi'ra's action ability has been used. 2 damage to Darth Vader, and Vader gets a shield. So now Darth Vader that much more difficult for Ryan to deal with. Perry still not showing fatal damage on board, but getting very close. He has been able to keep control of this board very well throughout Game 1. Ryan is going to play Cad Bane. Now Cad Bane can capture up to 3 enemy non-leader units with a total of 8 or less remaining HP. So Ryan cannot capture all 3 of Perry's units, but he can capture Darth Vader and Hylobond Enforcer. And Perry has a great response. Devastator comes in, dealing 10 damage to Cad Bane. Cad Bane defeated. Perry gets those 2 units back. And that is going to do it for Game 1. Ryan scoops it up. He cannot answer the Devastator. And Perry takes the 1-0 lead here in the final round of the Game Kastle Store Showdown. If you like the tokens we are using for gameplay here on the channel, make sure to check out Laser Gaming. The link to their store will be posted down in the description below. And through the end of February 2025, you can put in code NEXTGENGAMING to get 5% off their Star Wars Unlimited products and take your gameplay experience to the next level. The players are getting ready for Game 2 here in Round 3 of the Game Kastle Store Showdown in Greenville, South Carolina. Perry on the left piloting Qi'ra Green. Ryan on the right piloting Cad TT. Perry was able to win Game 1 and now finds himself just one game away from winning this Store Showdown. Ryan would love to take this second game and force a deciding Game 3. Ryan has deferred the initiative over to Perry for this second game. We'll see if the sideboarding from these players has any impact on this match. And to start things out in Game 2, Perry just claiming the initiative, does not have a turn 1 play, and Ryan is going to play Greedo. And we move on to the second round in Game 2. Perry with the initiative, and Perry will start things out with resupply, going up to 4 resources. And the door is left open for Greedo. 3 damage to Perry's base. And now Ryan will push the board a bit further, playing Mercenary Gunship into the Space Arena. Now that's probably not the unit that Ryan was really looking for on the 3 resource turn, after Perry does not play a unit over the first 2 turns of the game. The Mercenary Gunship is a unit that Perry actually will have access to take control of if he wanted to. You can pay 4 resources to take control of the Mercenary Gunship. So to start things out in this round, Perry playing yet another resupply, going up to 6 resources here on turn 3, or round 3, the 4 resource turn. We see 3 more damage to Perry's base with Mercenary Gunship. Perry plays his first unit here in Game 2, Hylobon Enforcer, and immediately Ryan playing Forlom ambushes and defeats the Hylobon Enforcer. Ryan is able to claim the bounty and draw 1 card. And now after this slow start from Perry, he is going to go ahead and deploy Qi'ra much earlier here in Game 2. So Qi'ra takes 4 damage. She's a 4/4 with grit. Forlom takes 2 damage. And Mercenary Gunship 1 damage when it's all said and done. And now Ryan has to decide what to do with Greedo.
Oh my God, what a gamble.
He does not have any remaining resources. He could try and protect Forlom if he attacks Greedo into Qi'ra, and then the when defeated trigger hits. That could be 2 more damage to Qi'ra and would defeat her, but Ryan going to play it safe. 3 damage to Perry's base for a total of 9 damage, and Perry is going to go ahead and attack and defeat Greedo. There's the trigger. It is not a non-unit card. So 2 additional damage not dealt to Qi'ra from Greedo's when defeated trigger, but 7 damage on Qi'ra. Just 1 HP remaining. Ryan was able to claim the initiative. And with Qi'ra being the only unit on the board for Perry, 1 Cad Bane trigger would defeat Qi'ra. So Ryan could open up this round with an Underworld unit, and that would take care of Qi'ra right away. Perry up to 7 resources. We are in Vader territory for Perry. The mercenary gunship can also be passed back and forth across the table, so that is an option for Perry to slow down the attacks from the space arena. But here comes that underworld unit. Cad Bane trigger off of Zuckus coming into play, and that is going to defeat Qi'ra. Now the action on Perry. Perry is going to pay for, and he will take control of the mercenary gunship, which will at least save 3 damage here in this round. Forlom attacks into Perry's base for 5 damage. Forlom and Zuckus both giving each other an additional +1/+1. Perry playing Power of the Dark Side. Ryan will sacrifice Forlom. So Zuckus back down to a 6-6. Ryan just claiming the initiative, and Ryan's mercenary gunship will inflict the first damage on his base here in game 2. 14 damage on Perry's base, 3 damage on Ryan's base. 2 early resupply turns for Perry. Did not play a lot of early units or early removal, allowed Ryan to get control of the board early and push some damage, and Ryan about halfway there in the damage count. And here comes Hotshot Blaster out of the resource row. Hotshot Blaster smuggled onto Zuckus. Zuckus hitting Perry's base for 8 damage. But here comes a very important response to Zuckus, Power of the Dark Side. That will force Ryan to defeat Zuckus. Ryan following up the Power of the Dark Side with Punishing One. Cad Bane trigger, mercenary gunship defeated. Perry going to play Calculating Magna Guard, which does have Sentinel here in this round. And Qi'ra dealing 2 damage to it, gives it a shield. So Ryan has deployed Cad Bane, but now a wall here in this round. Ryan just going to claim, since he would not be able to get through the Magna Guard. But here at the start of this phase, the Calculating Magna Guard does not currently have Sentinel. So that does open the board back up for Ryan to go into Perry's base. He's just 8 damage away from forcing game 3. Ryan showing potentially 7 damage on the board between Cad Bane and Punishing One. Let's see if he chooses to get in some damage right away at the start of this round. And it is going to be 4 damage to Perry's base with Cad Bane. 26 damage on Perry's base. Now Ryan just 4 damage away. Let's see how Perry responds here in the late game. Perry will play Snoke. That is going to give Ryan's non-leader units -2/-2. So Punishing One now just a 1/2. And Ryan is going to play Shoot First, attacking with Punishing One with an additional power. 2 damage to Perry's base. And now Perry is just going to claim the initiative, and Ryan has the card to finish the game. Ruthless Raider will deal the final 2 damage needed to Perry's base. Ryan wins game 2, and we will have a deciding game 3 to see who will be the Store Showdown champion. The players are ready to go for game 3 here in the final round of the Game Kastle Store Showdown. Perry versus Ryan. Qi'ra Green versus Cad Tarkentown. Again, Perry on the left piloting Qi'ra Green. Ryan on the right piloting Cad Tarkentown. Perry was able to win game one. He really had great control of that game. He was able to stabilize the board very early. And then that followed into his big plays in the late game to finish things off. And in game two, a slow start for Perry, a couple early resupply, and it just allowed Ryan to put too much pressure on in the early game, and that carried Ryan through, winning the game before Perry could get things stabilized. And here in the final game, we see the initiative on Perry's side once again. He opened up with Inferno 4. Ryan followed that with Cartel Spacer, using the Cad Bane trigger to deal a damage to the Inferno 4. Perry retained the initiative, and Ryan using that Tarkentown early here in game 3, defeating Inferno 4. And to start things out in round 2, Perry with the quick power of the dark side, taking out Cartel Spacer. And Ryan is going to play Lurking TIE Phantom. That is a fantastic card in this matchup. And that also explains the early Tarkentown to take out the Inferno 4 on Perry's side of the table, because that Inferno 4 would have had the ability to potentially take out the TIE Phantom. So opening up things in this round, we see the Super Laser Technician in the ground arena for Perry. Ryan hits Perry's base for 4 with the TIE Phantom, and then Perry uses Qi'ra's action ability to defeat the Super Laser Technician, deal 2 damage to it. It gets defeated before it gets the shield. So Perry up to 5 resources here in round 3. And we see Ryan playing Jabba the Hutt. He is going to get McClunky. And Perry just claims the initiative. We will move on to the next round. Ryan off to a pretty good start. He has good pressure on the board, including that Lurking TIE Phantom, which is so good here. But we know that Perry is running 2 copies of Supreme Leader Snoke. We saw Snoke come down in game 1. And Snoke is a fantastic answer to that Lurking TIE Phantom. Perry just 2 turns away from 8 resources and having Snoke as an option. So Ryan will want to deal as much damage as he can before that point. But speaking of 2 turns, that just got cut down to 1 turn. Perry plays resupply. He goes up to 7 resources. Ryan is going to attack for another 4 damage with the TIE Phantom. 8 damage on Perry's base. The action back over to Perry. He has yet to deploy Qi'ra. That is an option, although I would not be surprised to see him wait this out for the Cad Bane deploy. So with Perry playing resupply here in this round, he's up to 8 resources next round, which means we could see Snoke pretty soon. So Perry just passed. We see Ryan playing Crafty Smuggler. And now Perry will claim the initiative. Ryan still has 3 resources to work with, although he does have to respect Super Laser Blast. If you push the board here, you could potentially lose out on 3 units, so that is something he has to keep in the back of his mind. And Ryan is going to smuggle in another Hotshot Blaster, dealing 4 damage with Jabba the Hutt. So Perry now has 12 damage on his base. We will move on to the next round. But again, now Perry will be going up to 8 resources, and I can't tell for sure, but it looks like he might have Snoke in his hand. To the far left there, that might be Supreme Leader Snoke, and if it is, that would immediately defeat Lurking TIE Phantom and Crafty Smuggler. Would be a huge tempo play for Perry. Does he have it? Yes, he does. There's Supreme Leader Snoke. That is going to clean up the board quite well. TIE Phantom and Crafty Smuggler defeated, and now Jabba just has 2 power. He's a 2/6. That is a big-time play and a big-time moment here for Perry. Completely stabilizing the board. Now the action back over to Ryan, and there's a lot to think about. Neither leader has been deployed. But the one thing that Ryan has to be most concerned about right now is getting Supreme Leader Snoke off the board, because I just don't think he can win this game if Snoke stays on the table. So Ryan has to figure out the most efficient way to take Snoke off of the board. The fewest amount of cards, the fewest actions. What can Ryan do? Of course, Cad Bane can be deployed. We know that Qi'ra can still be deployed as well. Now, when Qi'ra is deployed, keep in mind, Snoke ends up with 3 damage after Qi'ra has been deployed and her effect resolves. So Ryan is going to go ahead and deploy Cad Bane. And Perry just going to pass. And I think this is a pass just to protect Supreme Leader Snoke right now, because if Qi'ra comes out right there, Snoke ends up with 3 damage, and Cad Bane can take him out with 1 swing. So Ryan is still going to attack into Snoke with Cad Bane. 4 damage onto Snoke, 6 damage back onto Cad. And now the action back over to Perry. He will deploy Qi'ra. Both Cad Bane and Qi'ra will end up with 4 damage on Jabba as well. And Snoke essentially heals 1 damage, goes from 4 damage on down to 3. And now Jabba does not have enough power to attack into Supreme Leader Snoke and defeat him. So Ryan will have to find another way to defeat Snoke in this round other than just attacking into him with Jabba, unless he has another hotshot blaster in the resource row. Ryan is going to play Punishing One. Cad Bane trigger, that's going to deal 2 damage to one of Perry's units. Perry thought it was just 1 damage. It is 2 damage. So Perry thinking carefully where that 2 damage goes. He is going to put the 2 damage onto Supreme Leader Snoke. Qi'ra attacks and defeats Jabba. And Snoke still on the board as well with 1 HP remaining. Qi'ra now has 6 damage on. So Qi'ra has 6 power. And Ryan is going to play McClunky, returning Punishing One to his hand, dealing the final damage needed to Supreme Leader Snoke. But I think when it's all said and done, Perry has to feel pretty good about how that turn went down and the amount of resources that Ryan used to take out Snoke there. Qi'ra is still left on the board with 6 power. And in the end, Perry was able to get the initiative. Now Qi'ra and Cad Bane would trade, so we'll see if Perry has a way to protect Qi'ra and take out Ryan's leader. And Perry has Darth Vader. That's a massive play. Darth Vader is going to be able to take out Cad Bane. Perry does use the win plate ability first. Searching for some villainy units, cost 3 or less. Here comes Calculating Magna Guard. That will have Sentinel for the remainder of this phase. And Darth Vader ambushing and defeating Cad Bane. Ryan, no units on the board. Ryan got off to such a good start in this game, getting the lurking TIE Phantom out in round 2. Putting some early damage on Perry's base, got to 12 damage, and then it just came to a halt. Ryan playing Punishing One, and Perry is going to deal the first damage of this game to Ryan's base with Qi'ra. 6 damage to Ryan's base, and Ryan is going to just load the board back up with some units. He plays Boba Fett and Greedo in the ground arena. Perry once again was able to claim the initiative. And with the first action, Darth Vader is going to attack and defeat Boba Fett. And now the action back over to Ryan. Ryan has a very nice trade option here. Greedo for Qi'ra. Qi'ra sitting there ready with 6 power. Having grit and 6 damage on her. But with the first action of the round, Ryan is going to play a card. He plays Bazine Natal. Taking a look at Perry's hand, we see Super Laser Blast, System Patrol Craft, Palpatine's Return, and Vigilance. Ryan has Perry discard Vigilance. Perry gets to draw a card. And then with the CAD trigger, 1 damage has to go on one of Perry's units. Perry puts it on Qi'ra, so Qi'ra now with 7 damage equals 7 power. Here comes 7 damage into Ryan's base, and just like that, the damage count has dramatically changed. 13 damage on Ryan's base, 12 damage on Perry's base. And now Ryan is going to attack with Greedo and make the trade with Qi'ra. With the when defeated trigger on Greedo, Ryan did discard a non-unit card, so 2 damage dealt to Vader as well. So Ryan is able to defeat Qi'ra and Darth Vader with 1 action. But man, it feels 1 action late after Ryan soaked up 7 damage to his base. Ryan claims the initiative after Perry plays System Patrol Craft in the space arena. And here comes Palpatine's Return, bringing back Supreme Leader Snoke. Snoke back into Perry's ground arena. And Ryan will have to figure out a way to get through Snoke for the 2nd time here in Game 3. Ryan does have the initiative. But how does he go about answering Snoke here? He is going to play Change of Heart with his first action. So Ryan is able to take control of Snoke for the remainder of this phase. So now Perry's units have -2/-2. So with the action on Perry, he is going to attack into Punishing One with System Patrol Craft. That only puts 1 damage onto Punishing One. System Patrol Craft -2/-2, just a 1/2. So the System Patrol Craft defeated, but that gives Calculating Magna Guard Sentinel now, which means Snoke has to go into the Magna Guard instead of having the ability to go into Perry's base or maybe a ground unit that Perry plays in this round. So Snoke takes out Magna Guard, taking 1 damage back. So I really like that play from Perry, turning on the Sentinel ability for Magna Guard and really limiting what Ryan was able to do with Snoke here. And now Perry is going to play Devastating Gunship in the space arena, and Ryan attacks into Perry's base with punishing one. And that is the first damage that Ryan has dealt to Perry's base in quite some time. And following that attack, Perry using Qi'ra's action ability to deal 2 damage to devastating gunship and put a shield on the gunship. So now the gunship is a 5-3. A very real 5-power threat in the space arena. Ryan has claimed the initiative, and Perry extends his board playing Hilo Bond Enforcer. But now Snoke back on Perry's side of the table spells trouble for Ryan. Ryan has just 12 HP remaining on his base, and Perry is showing exactly 12 possible damage with the 3 ready units he has in play right now. So Ryan is going to play Ruthless Raider, dealing 2 damage to Perry's base and 2 damage to Supreme Leader Snoke. And now Snoke is going to attack into Ryan's base. 6 damage. Our damage totals now: Ryan's base with 19 damage, Perry's base with 17 damage. Does Ryan have any way to stop an attack from one of the other 2 ready units that Perry has in play? If he does not, Perry will win this game. Ryan just double checking, making sure he has no outs. And there's the handshake. That is going to do it. Perry is victorious. What a match. Excellent play from Perry to close this one out in Game 3. And Perry is your Game Kastle Set 3 Store Showdown champion. Thank you so much to everyone for tuning in to this Store Showdown coverage. May the force be with you, and until next time, take care.